What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the MG Cup Series here on NBCSN. We're at Dover for the second time this season, and I don't think I'm in the right tab. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Alright, we're at Dover for the second time this season, and the story for today, Papyrus Racing is not going to compete in the entirety of this event. Chris Mack is in the garage. The car is here. They have set the car up to run a few laps, but they're not going to be on track right from the drop of the green. But your pole sitter is Brian Vickers. That is a pretty big surprise here today. But the green flag is out. We're racing here at Dover, and Mark Martin on the pole, or excuse me, starting P3 on the bottom there. It's gonna pull out to the inside of Jeff Gordon. And they're side by side through 3 and 4. Vickers is gonna lead lap 1. We got a car in the wall towards the back. Jason Leffler managed to spin, but it didn't bring out a caution. We're still rolling here. 3 wide. Mid-pack. Matt Kenseth in the middle of it. There's Joe Nemechek on the high side, and they are still 3 wide. Back down to 2 now. And back up to 3. Dale Jr. in the middle. Look at J.J. Yaley down on the bottom. And there's the 99, Jeff Burton. And the yellow flag is out. So it looks like they changed their mind on not throwing the caution for Leffler here. Unless something else may have brought it out. We're gonna watch here. See what. Oh, Brendan Gaughan on the backstretch as well. That's what brought out this caution. Got into the inside wall. Didn't get it too hard though. We're gonna jump to the drop of the green. Brian Vickers, still your leader. But here comes Mark Martin with a huge run. And he's got a lot of speed in that 6 car. He was fast here earlier this season. And now we're back at the Monster Mile. And he is just as fast as he was last time, as he takes the lead. And Elliott Sadler follows him through on the inside. Brian Vickers going to get freight trained here as he's stuck on the high side. Here comes his teammate Jimmie Johnson underneath him as well. Tony Stewart goes by for 3rd. Here comes Jeff Gordon, another teammate. 3 Hendrick Motorsports cars up inside the top 10. HMS having a pretty good run here today. Whoa, a little bit of contact there. The 16 and the 8 almost went into the inside wall there. But Biffle keeps it straight as he continues to hold off that number 8 machine. Dale Jr. right there on his tail, trying to get by the 16 of Biffle. And Martin, your leader, way out ahead. And it seems these drivers are actually going a little bit slower around the track here today. I'm not sure what that's all about, but they are going a little slower. Maybe the track's starting to wear a little bit. And these guys starting to have a little less grip, having to lift a little more in the corners, as you saw contact between Newman and Busch right there, Kurt Busch. Brian Vickers back here, still kind of cruising along. Here comes Dale Jarrett. Jarrett is just going to dump him on the backstretch hard into the inside wall. Goes Brian Vickers, and that's going to bring out the caution for the second time, second time here today. 3rd incident of the day. And Brian Vickers with a heavy hit into the inside wall on the backstretch. That's one thing about Dover. It's a self-cleaning racetrack, and cautions, or I guess wrecks I should say, are usually pretty severe in terms of damaging the car. As you see him getting into the inside wall heavily there. We're gonna take a quick. I'm gonna mute for a second, and on this restart, we'll get a quick crank it up. Wow, restart there is Jeff Gordon about got turned by Kurt Busch, but he keeps it straight, and he seems to be holding up this little group of cars back here. As there's a lot of cars just right behind that 24 kind of training here. Elliott Sadler is the first car behind them. And meanwhile out front, Tony Stewart, your leader. Jimmie Johnson in second. Stewart got his first career MG Cup Series win earlier this season at California. And we got a car in the wall towards the back. Jeff Burton has found the wall somehow. Didn't bring out the caution though. This has been one incident-filled race, but not a caution-filled one. Oh, wow. The 80 of Bliss got turned up the racetrack and bounced into that 99. You see the right side damage on the 80 machine. And poor Jeff Burton had nothing to do with that and paid the ultimate price for it. But meanwhile, we have a really big battle for third place taking place here. Or, excuse me, that's fifth. I didn't even realize those guys got past them up there, but looking at Elliott Sadler as he tries to hold off the 42 with Jamie McMurray. McMurray right there on his tail entering 1 and 2, but backs off big time there. Slow car in the track is 25 of Brian Vickers as he's just kind of cruising around out here. The 86 has still not been out on track. I would have thought that team would try to stay on track long enough to gain some spots, but it seems they may have other plans here. I'm not sure. They could come out onto the track at any second and still have enough time to pass these guys that have DNF'd in position wise, but I just thought they would come out earlier. But I guess they're waiting for more incidents to happen. They obviously don't want their driver to end up in a wreck, so that would defeat the purpose of this plan of them only coming here for a few points and to collect some money. Obviously, it seems they are building, looking forward to next season, building their team and cars, trying to get a better start for the 2005 season, but at the moment that it doesn't seem that things are going too well for them, so they're looking to turn that around next season. That's really the only way I can put it. But we heard in an interview with Chris Mack a few weeks ago that he was tired of running around in wrecked race cars and running mid-pack, getting caught up in these big wrecks. He wants to go up there and have a chance to fight for the win. So it seems that's what his team is gonna do next season. They're gonna try to improve a little bit, using these last couple of races of the season to just collect some cash. And I mean, I guess it's a smart plan. They really became a starting park team out of the blue, and that's not really anything I expected out of a big team like Papyrus Racing. So that's why I'm having trouble just describing what exactly is going on, because they're a top tier team. They got pretty good equipment. They're not really the most consistent team, but they've got really good equipment, as you saw at Riverside earlier this year when Chris Mack won, and a few other races where he started up front, but the car kind of wore out on him during the long runs, and he fell back, and then eventually got caught up in a wreck that started mid-pack. So this plan, we'll see next season if it works or not, but they're willing to try anything at this point. Looking at the 84 of Kyle Busch underneath Brian Vickers as he puts him a lap down. It's pretty spread out here. Terry Labonte on the high side, being passed, getting a little bit of freight train towards the back, but they seem to have figured that out. It's nice to see Terry running well here today, up inside the top 20 after his horrible accident here earlier this season where the car went into the wall after contact from his teammate. Brian Vickers sent him into the wall there off of turn 4, and his car shot back across the track. And I mean, that was a hard hit into the outside wall as well, a terrible angle to hit, and it shot back down the racetrack right into the path of oncoming traffic, and he got hit about 2 or 3 more times in that wreck, and those were some pretty good impacts as well. And kind of gave him a bit of a concussion, but it wasn't detected until Michigan, where he had another hard crash, and he was seeing some signs of a concussion that he had previously ignored, and that's when they realized that he needed to step out of the car for a bit. But luckily, he is back. He's racing again here today. Luckily, it wasn't a serious concussion, nothing major, so it didn't keep him out for too long. But Jerry Nadeau and Ricky Hendrick, jeez, what am I thinking about? Ricky Taylor, this ain't him. Ricky Hendrick shared that 5 car for a bit while he was gone, and now he's back running in the top 20 here. So that's a pretty nice comeback for him, and a pretty good story. Or I guess not a good story, a pretty wild story for Terry Labonte as he does his thing here at the Dover International Speedway. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the MG Cup Series here on NBCSN. We are 53 laps into the race, and Still no sign of the 86. All he has to do is just complete one lap under green, and he will be counted for points and counted for a start. Oh, and there, right, speaking of devil, there he is. He is pulling his way out of pit road and onto the track, or making his way out of pit road. So I'll pull out of the garage area there and drive out onto the racetrack. He's on the track now. And we're a good ways in. So yeah, this has been a pretty good, calm race for the most part. I mean, we've had 4 incidents, but as far as cautions are concerned, it's been a pretty calm race. And these guys are all kind of spread out. So it looks like they finally saw a good opportunity to join the race and get out onto the track. Oh, and he gets up into the wall. It looks like the lack of grip kind of caught him off guard there. They don't mind that little dent in the right side of the car. That can easily be repaired. They're gonna let him stay on track here. They just don't want him to end up in a wreck. That's the last thing they want, is to wreck the car. You can hear the wind. Shows you the speeds of which they are running. Jimmie Johnson has fallen back to 4th. Meanwhile, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the race leader, with Kurt Busch not too far behind, running 2nd. So it looks like Chris Mack is going to run about a little less than 20 more laps, unless there's another DNF, and then he might possibly think about staying out to the end of this race. But their team, looks like the team wants them to just stay out for about 20 more laps and try to get them a couple of spots as Mark Martin and Hermie Sattler are out of the race. We saw Mark Martin pulling in the pit road on that one restart when he was supposed to be leading, and the car was smoking. Looks like he had some sort of an engine issue, which sucks for him because he was the fastest car on the track at the time. So really unfortunate. But Dale Jr. has to deal with some heavy lap traffic. There are cars all over the place, and this might allow Kurt Busch to catch up, but Kurt has some cars to deal with as well. Kyle Petty moves up the racetrack, gets out of the way. Junior to the inside of the 98, the 97, trying to follow him through. And they both get by, but Kurt Busch wasn't held up as badly as the 8 was. Now they're going to try to work their way past Mike Bliss. Bliss is going to cut off that 8 machine. Drove right down in front of Dale Jr. and Kurt Busch. Kurt is all over the 8's back bumper now. But what is he going to do? Will he use the bumper, or will he try to pull out and make a move cleanly here? We He didn't use it that time by, so looks like he's gonna try to hold off from using the bumper unless he absolutely needs to, but it's clear that Junior has more speed in that 8 car down the straightaways. He's gonna have to really rely on lap traffic, as he saw one car get up into the outside wall a little bit off of turn 2 up there, right in front of our leaders. But it wasn't anything too severe. Look at the 8. Mike Skinner almost cleared himself on Dale Jr. there. See, the closing rate between the leaders and the lap cars is really scary sometimes, because they kind of catch these lappers a lot quicker than they're expecting them to. They may be ready to drive down to the bottom and they're entering the corners, and suddenly the leader is there, and that'll cause a wreck. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But through 3 and 4, looking at what lap it is, Dale Jr. is going to lead the funny lap as he holds off Kurt Busch. Up next is that 86 of Chris Mack. And he's just gonna stay high. He's gonna let our leaders by here. Great job on his part there. He knows that he's really only out here cruising around. There's no point in holding these guys up. Chris Mack is going to gain a spot by Mark Martin. Just a couple of more laps. Now they're even. Just needs to stay out one more lap here. Listen to the wind. That's cool. That's a cool new feature that we have here. I'd say it's a little too loud, but it's a cool feature that we can hear the wind. Just kind of give a sense of how fast they're going. The 86 is now up to 39th place. The 02 is just a couple laps ahead as well, so if he stays out a little bit longer, he'll be able to catch Hermie Sadler in terms of laps. And these leaders are being held up big time. Here comes Kurt Busch to the inside of Dale Jr. Jr. on the high side, trying to hold them off. Side by side through 3 and 4. Junebug has no choice but to surrender the position. But now here comes a lap car. That's Brendan Gaughan to the inside of the 8. Gaughan is going to back off a little bit here. Kurt Busch, new leader. But he has to deal with Terry Labonte. Terry not making it easy for him. Junebug right back, looking inside, 3 wide with the lap cars, and they're gonna make it work. We heard a tire squealing there. Seems like the 86 is really struggling for grip, because he is sliding those tires quite often now. May have run a little bit too hard on those tires, but now side by side in front of the leaders is Greg Biffle and Sterling Marlin. Biffle, that's a teammate to Kurt Busch, so see how this goes. Kurt gets inside, he's gonna clear that 16 machine. Greg Biffle might try to hold up the 8 by racing him a little bit here, but no. Even if he tried to, he couldn't. The 8 was just too fast. He's all over the 97's back bumper. And we're about to take another break. So I'll stay right here. We'll be right back after this, as Chris Mack is about to take another spot here. Welcome back to the MG Cup Series here on NBCSN. Green flag pit stops are underway. And Kyle Busch is pretty slow. Looks like he may be having an issue. Keeps it rolling for now. Man, there are cars everywhere right here. Looking at this little pack. As Jason Leffler is a lap down, and he's holding a lot of these guys up. He's not really up to speed, and contact almost sent the 60 car around. There are a lot of cars in this one tight little spot, and at any moment that could have went badly. Here comes your leader, Kurt Busch. He's gonna have to deal with this now. Ryan Newman's right in front of him. Newman, we know he doesn't want to fall a lap down. Here comes the 8 of Dale Jr. right behind Ricky Rudd, and Rudd may try to race that 8 car. Kurt Busch underneath the 12 of Ryan Newman. Newman on the high side, battling back, but couldn't quite keep the lap. He's gonna lose a lap here. So pretty soon these guys are going to be lapping drivers inside the top 10. As Joe Nemechek's running 10th, and he's right up here in front of your leaders. So it'll be harder and harder to pass these guys as they fall a lap down, because they're going to be going faster and faster. And these guys won't really want to fall a lap down, so they're going to use every bit of speed they can find in these cars and try to hold these leaders off. So it's going to get pretty difficult to lap people as this race progresses, as we are getting down towards the end of this thing as well here. Unfortunately, now is that time. We have to take our last break. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to the MG Cup Series here on NBCSN. We will be green for these final 19 now and a half laps. Kurt Busch, your leader, or excuse me, no longer your leader. As Dale Jr. got by him during the break and managed to pull a 2-second gap, 2.5 seconds almost, over the 97, who is struggling to get by a lot of these lap cars. So it looks like this may be Junior's race to lose, but you never know, because lap traffic could really change anything. You can't really assume a winner yet. Look at this. Lap cars side by side in front of your 8, or in front of the 8. Your leader has to try to get by Elliott Sadler. He's going to get to his inside. He's going to almost clear him heading into 1. That should do it. There are 2 Robert Yates cars that Junior is in the middle of. He's in a Robert Yates sandwich at the moment. Meanwhile, Kurt Busch still being held up by the 21. Junior can really be patient and take his time getting by these lap cars now, because he's got such a big lead over Kurt Busch that he doesn't really need to risk it this close to the end of the race. Looking at Jamie McMurray. That is a car that is multiple laps down. Ricky Craven. That was kind of holding him up a little bit, but they finally got by. But we are getting down to the end here from Dover. By the way, the 86 has pulled off the track about like 30 laps ago or so. He gained as many spots as he could. Which weren't many, surprisingly. This has been a really clean race for the most part here at Dover. So he gained what he could and called it a day. But now we have 10 laps to go, and your leader has a 4.5 second lead that is still growing with each lap. And 97 still struggling to get by these lapped cars. Kurt Busch going to take it 3 wide down on the bottom and clears the 21 finally. Now he's going to clear the 01 as well. But this is what I was talking about. It's going to get harder and harder to pass some of these guys as they, the higher up you start to get in the field, the faster these guys will be. Obviously, it's a race. So these guys are going to give the leaders a harder time. Dale Jr. finally works his way by Dale Jarrett in the 88. Six more laps for good old Junebug at the line here. 6 to go from Dover International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. just needs to stay consistent. He can let the 88 by if he really needs to at this point. There's no point in racing Dale Jarrett. He just needs to keep all his fenders straight and keep it in one piece. 4.5 to go as we head down the back stretch. Four to go. Down into turn 3, Kyle Petty, multiple laps down. He should make it easy for Junior to get by. I mean, he gave him a lane. Whoa, that almost ended in disaster. Guys need to be a little bit more careful than that. With just 3 laps to go, don't want to wipe out the leader, don't want to wipe yourself out off of a lapped car. Junior staying high. 2 laps to go from Dover. And I can go ahead and get rid of the ticker. Down the backstretch. White flag in the air one more time around for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And a 1 and 2 for the final time. Pretty smooth. Navigating auto lap traffic. Dale Jr. did his part today. And he's going to earn this checkered flag off of turn 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to win here at Dover. As he takes the checkered flag right behind the 88 of Dale Jarrett. Now he's going to go around and complete another lap, as well as the 99. The race isn't over for them yet because they didn't finish before the leader. They didn't cross the line after the leader did. But for these guys behind them, the race is over. So, what a race for Dale Jr. Did everything right and was rewarded with the checkered flag at the end of it all. So, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe. Hope to see you guys next time. And until then,